Okay, you guys, I wanted to show you some of my CCI products that I use a lot. And I'm going to go all the way down to the end here, read it off to you, and maybe give you a close-up of each. So this first one, this bird shot right on the end here, this is Shot Shell 22 long rifle, number 12 shot, 1,000 feet per second, 31 grains, meaning the little BBs that are inside there, 31 grains. Next one here, we got 22 short, CB short, and this is 710 feet per second rated. Now, this is all rated out of a rifle, so you can see how short that is. In my Browning Buckmark, I think this does about 550, so just know when you see the velocity rating on these things, it's for a rifle. So a pistol, you can expect less. And then the next one here, we got a 22 quiet, and this is the 40 grain, 710 feet per second right here. Right there. And then the one next to it is the 835 feet per second, 22 quiet. And this one has a 45 grain bullet. So this one's got 40, this one's got 45, and this one's going faster. So it's still considered a quiet, but it's just got a little more power to it, more weight, going faster, that kind of thing. And you can tell there is a difference between this one and this one. This one's got more of a flat surface around the diameter, and this one here's got grooves in it. And then this one here is your standard velocity CCI 40 grain, 1070 feet per second. This is just your basic range ammo and stuff. I usually use this in my Buckmark. When I'm putting in ammo for defense, I usually don't use this range ammo. So this is something that I use for reliable shots on the range. CCI standard velocity 22 long rifle. And shooting this is a lot better on your rifling than shooting something that's got a copper plating on it. And then the next one here, we got the 22 short. And this one is rated at 1080 feet per second, 29 grains. And you can see how this 22 short looks right here. Copper plated, not jacketed, copper plated, like a wash. So there's that there. And then we'll compare it to the 22 CB short right there, and you can see they're about the same length. Okay, and then the next one we have here is just your basic target ammo. And like I said, the other ammo that I'm using is the non-plated version right here for practice and accuracy and stuff like that. Now, I do use a lot of bulk ammo, but we're just talking about CCI right now. So if I'm going to shoot a lot of CCI, this is what I'm going to shoot probably most likely right here. Unless it's my revolver, then I'll put other stuff in it. So getting back to this one, because I didn't tell you about this one yet. This is 22 CCI mini mag. This is a 40 grain, 1235 feet per second. You can see it's got the copper wash on it. And then the one next to it is CCI Mini Mag segmented hollow point 22 long rifle. This one breaks off into 3 pieces. I don't think it has a core that goes forward. So there's some ammo out there that has a core, so 4 pieces, but this one's 3. So it splits in 3 pieces, blows up immediately, and I don't think there's a core, although it does show. No, I guess it doesn't show on here. It shows all 3 breaking up. So I'm pretty sure that this one just breaks into 3 pieces, but it doesn't have a core like some of the defense loads do. So this is obviously, for varmint, because it's going to blow up immediately when it's used in a rifle. 40 grain, 1235 feet per second. CCI Velocitor, this is a 40 grain rated at 1435 feet per second. This will do 1150 in my Browning Buckmark, which means it's the highest energy round for 22 that I have, coming in at 117 foot-pounds and the 5.5-inch barrel on the Browning Buckmark. So this one's a real hard hitter. And not only that, it's got a high ballistic coefficient, which means that once it's in flight for longer ranges and stuff, it retains a lot of its energy because of its ogive and because it's the high velocity and because of the fact that it's still relatively heavy, 40 grain, which is pretty much your basic 22 long rifle grain weight. And then over here we have the Stingers, 1640 feet per second, 32 grain. This is a hollow point here. When I use these in my Buckmark, they expand very quickly. The penetration isn't, it's probably like 8 to 10 inches or something like that, depending on what you're shooting, like gel and stuff like that. But typically, if I'm going to use something for defense, I'll use the Velocitor, or I'll just use your basic mini mag right here. Use these right here. The standard ones I like to use, but I like the extra power for the slide just in case I have concerns about the slide opening up. This has got a little more pep to it, so it's going to open that slide a lot better. The difference between these two, very hard to tell, but it's good having the high velocity rounds in for defense, getting a little more power, having the slide function much better. Whereas this, it's a little weaker. You could have slide problems on some 22s, the slide not coming all the way back like it should. So this is what I would use. I would use 22 mini mag right here, 40 grain. I would use that. Very reliable. And I've tried them in my 22s. So whatever is the most reliable, I'm going to do. Probably something like that I'll probably do. So these right here, I would use the Velocitor in the semi-auto, but some of them don't like the Velocitor. But definitely in a revolver, I would use the Velocitor. And then Stinger, obviously, for flat shooting and stuff like that. Very fun round. These have actually dropped in price too. But the next one is really, really high velocity. This one's rated at, what is that, 1850 feet per second, 21 grain. This is copper 22 CCI. This is kind of like a poly copper. It's where they take plastics and copper and kind of mix it together. Stuff like that, like a poly plastic type metal projectile, 21 grains. That's about the typical weight of, say, like a pellet rifle. That's a 22 caliber, usually 20 grains or something like that is a good, decent weight for a pellet rifle. So the only difference is you're throwing that thing about 1850, depending on what your chronometer reads on these. So these got a lot of pep and they're extremely fast. So something like this, probably the revolver, and they're fun to shoot in the Buckmark too. So, and the Buckmark, these get about 1,365 feet per second. So way, way past the speed of sound, and very, very, very flat shooting, relatively accurate. It's just that the lightweight bullet over longer ranges and stuff, it's just too light to the point where it drops in velocity very quickly because it's a light bullet. Whereas your Velocitor, even though it's not the highest velocity, it tends to retain a lot of its energy downrange, like 100 yards and stuff like that. So you got a 40 grain bullet going 1435, plus, like I told you, it's got a high BC. So anyway, just wanted to show you some of my CCI products here that some of you have probably used. And if you have any favorites, let me know. Or if you have guns that like certain ones and don't like certain ones, you can let me know. The purpose of these right here were so that they could feed these quiets, were so that they can feed in a rifle. That's why they're longer. And pistols, obviously, 22 short CBs, you can use them in revolvers and stuff like that. Some pistols, if you put them in the magazine, you got to put it a little bit forward in the magazine. So this is why these are available, so that you can use it in a pistol magazine too, because it's got the length so you can load it in. Now, they might not cycle the slide, so obviously you got to do a tap and a rack, but there's nothing wrong with getting practice in with that anyway. 22 shorts, same thing. You could probably feed them in the magazine if you push them forward a little bit, shooting one at a time in a semi-auto. Like a Browning Buckmark, you could shoot that one at a time and that one at a time. If you just put it in the magazine, push it up a little bit, and where the nose is touching the end part of the magazine, you could load it and feed it and shoot one at a time, that kind of thing. But these really do help a lot if you want to shoot a little bit more and be a little more quiet, even with the pistol, the revolver, or the rifle. So anyway, hope you guys appreciate the video here. Just wanted to show you some of my CCI products here that I use. Thank you.